Yeah, well, actually, the ex-mayor of Regina now, but yeah. Fiacco was the drummer in his band. Yeah. Yep, Pat Fiacco.
You know, we don't talk politics here now. I go to bat for anyone in the band because that's what we do around here, isn't it?
Yeah, that was...
Woo! That's awesome.
Hot, yeah.
How's your head set feel?
How's it feel?
Yeah.
Well, I pulled it out once, and there's a little grease on it.
Well, yeah.
Which is to be expected. You should see the in-ear monitors I use on the road.
I don't think I want to.
Oh, no. Oh, well, because you have to clean them.
I clean these ones. We got these custom made from Sound Hearing Impressions. Shout out to Cassandra and the gang over there.
Oh, you got
Amazing.
some customs. Yeah. Customs are the way to go, man.
Straight up. Oh, look at the little grease on there already. There it is.
Oh, yeah. You got a little goo. You just little squishy.
They gave me a...
You got to wipe it on your pants like a professional.
No. They gave me a professional cleaner because that's what they do because they're professionals.
Ah, those are weird people. We don't got time.
Oh, that's
We're the type of people with earwax on our knees and pee stains on our pants.
That's
we don't got time. We don't got time for that after pee. What do they call it? Jiggle. I gotta go.
Are you telling me that you always have piss driblets going?
Well, you know what's really funny? Ace Ventura 2, where I took that quote from just now.
So
like, this man does not have time for the after pee jiggle.
It's a great movie.
Yeah, he's a workaholic. From that movie, I've had that kept in my entire life in the back of my head, being like, "Don't be that guy," and I've been that guy a couple
Always
times.
shake your
wiener. And I'm just like, "Are you that guy? Do you have somewhere to be? Do you really have somewhere to be?" But even if you do got somewhere to be, you make sure to start like jiggling before you're done.
But you can't.
And then it kind of screws it all up.
You can't jiggle in front of other people. Like you can't be at a public urinal sitting there jiggling.
Oh, you do that.
All right.
You do a couple of those.
Incognito.
And sometimes if you're like, got prostate issues or something like that, you ever see people do the fake jiggle?
No.
Because
Please
it's like,
tell me more.
Yeah, they're sitting there making it seem like they're pissing because they have bad prostate. And they're just like, yeah, I know.
I get stage fright all the time.
A couple of those and a couple of those again. It's like
riding the pony.
I can hear, man. I don't think
There's
you're
no
doing
drizzle
nothing
coming out
here.
there.
Like, yeah, I know. It's okay. You can have prostate issues. Just go to a doctor.
Dang.
Everybody, go to your
Is
doctor.
that why my pee's so slow?
Probably hydration. Your prostate.
I'm
man.
drinking a lot of water, dude.
Somebody else needs to milk your prostate.
It's his story time. This is what we do. We tell stories. It's a lot of fun. And we also love to start the show off with, he hasn't named his pet Skynet yet. Kind of like a Tamagotchi. One of those things that you put all your stuff into.
I love that you think it's kind of like that.
I think you're going to grow it. Or like, what's those things called? Pokemons. He's like a Pokemon. He gets trained and his Skynet keeps growing and growing and it creates all these things. So he has his pet Skynet and he puts in a bunch of different words and then this is what it spits out. And we have a different one for every start of the show. And it's so much fun. And you can play along at home as well. We're going to guess what words he entered into his Skynet pet for this image. That might even be the name of the segment. That's pretty
We're going to guess.
All
you got a mouse in your pocket?
All of us. No, and Maggie's not even here. She's outside right now, so that's extra weird. Okay, so right off the bat, I got a nice Santa Claus vibe. I was telling you earlier about Violent Night. I watched it with my mom and dad on Christmas Eve.
You kind of inspired it, so
yeah, it's crazy.
But don't use that.
Of course. But that show is freaking awesome. My mom said it's the worst Christmas movie she's ever seen. That's how you know it's fantastic. It's incredible. Within the first 5 minutes, Santa pukes off of the sleigh because he's too drunk onto a woman, and then he pees off the other side of the sleigh. It's incredible. Just had to get that out there. So we got Santas fighting in the street. Well, what are those? Those fire pokers? I can't tell. What are the people in the background holding? That's a weird one.
Gotta get that Uncle Mike's in there too. Here.
Shout out Uncle Mike.
Shout out.
The best. Hey, damn 20 promo code. Use it at Uncle Mike's and you get 20% off any order. It's incredible.
No
incredible
way.
deal. True story. And he was actually talking about you. He said, does Uncle Grandma have any beard stuff? And I said, I'm sure he does.
Are you serious? Oh, I got the one day we saw him here, I should have stopped him.
He wants to give you some because he's a huge fan of yours.
Well, yeah, I'd like to purchase some
Well,
of
yeah,
his
that's
stuff
what I told
too.
him. That's
If
exactly.
he
I
wants
said
to
he's
give
the
me
type
some,
of guy
cool.
that'll support you. Yeah.
Give me some free stuff so I can buy the other stuff.
The point is, I got a whole bunch here in these bags.
Nice.
And I got some more, and he was very excited to.
Yeah. No,
So
I'm
anyways,
all about that.
medieval times, maybe, or maybe even before that.
Oh, really?
That's sort of the vibe I'm getting.
We're gonna have to do a little Goog search about what is. Before we get into it, when was the medieval times? Which time?
I'm gonna say 1500s. Is that good? Did you just do a Sally?
Where'd my phone go? Is it the 1500s?
I'll check.
Jeez. Gee willikers.
Shout out to Aquaman, by the way. That's my toque today. I wore a toque, and he wore a toque, and that was not even
No, and both
talked
gray
about.
toques.
Yeah, we did right.
Black shirts, gray toques. Weird.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Okay, medieval times. I hope it takes me to the restaurant. I love medieval times.
I've seen a couple. I've
Yeah.
never been in one. I've always wanted to go
The
in.
Nickel family went to Orlando, Florida, and we went to King Henry's Feast, it was called, the same sort of idea. And it is awesome, man. You eat like you eat with your hands, and this is how they said it then, so don't get mad at me for this, but all the women waitresses were referred to as wenches. I remember that very
it has to
specifically,
be.
thinking like that doesn't seem right.
Yep.
And then like all of the dads of all the tables got up to go on the stage in the middle of the place and dance with the wenches. It was a wild time, man. King Henry's Feast. It's like the Chuck E. Cheese on steroids. You know what I'm saying? It's like medieval times, but like wilder.
Yeah.
I still have a pendant in my vehicle, picture of my brother on it. It's hilarious, from King Henry's Feast.
Okay, I gotta actually.
I'm just typing in medieval times.
Okay,
And then,
yeah.
of course, first one. Medieval
It's-
times. Dinner and tournament is a fun family dinner.
It's not the actual time. What time was the medieval times?
There it is. What time period? I got it.
Yeah.
Oh, we were so close. So the medieval era, called the Middle Ages of the Dark Ages, began around 476 AD, following a great loss of power throughout Europe by the Roman Emperor. The Middle Ages spanned roughly 1,000 years, ending between 1400 and 1450. So we were almost there.
Huh.
We were 50 years off.
Huh.
Pretty
So
impressive.
like the Renaissance. I don't know what's
If you
after.
wanna
I'm
sound
bad
fancy,
with that,
sure.
but
yeah.
how
How much does it cost to go to the medieval times?
How much does it cost?
$61.99 for an adult. If you're a child, it's only $41.99. Does that come with food, or is that just like an entry fee? Well, this is going to be depressing. We're not going to go into that. What a fun show! I love your show. I tell you that all the time. Hey, this is like I'm on a whole bunch of shows on the network here, and this is by far the funnest. Just because it's like the after dark, eh? Like the after hours show.
I guess
It's where we
yeah.
can be real, like,
compared to what
to the live show or
what
the
other people are doing.
other
I
ones,
guess you
yeah.
could say that.
Yeah, so it's very cool to have a different outlet where you can really, really be yourself, you know?
Well, I can't be anybody else there, Gary.
That's right, and that's why I love you so much.
Gotta look at what the prompt says here. Oh, here we go.
Yeah, we know. I didn't forget about it. I was trying to kill time until you found it.
No,
I knew it would be tough to find.
this is great. Boxing Day boxing match between an old Viking lady and an old woman who is a knight. I think this one's supposed to be a
lady.
woman.
Yeah, I can
But
see
the
that.
other one's totally just a knight kind of guy. I don't know why it meant that. But in a barn in Tennessee in the 1500s.
That's incredible.
It's like I wrote it down, in the 1500s. You guessed 1500s.
The universe, man.
I don't know.
It's the universe.
That you guessed it though. Just asking, in what time period? And you just said so.
It's on tape. Like we captured that on tape.
Don't you think that possibly somehow they were so on like a time period of art that may have just kind of you just look at it, it's like that's 1500s art. That's weird. That's the weird part.
That's weird. That's very weird.
Holy moly.
That's
So
something. It's very cool. Though. Out of all the images, that might be one of my favorites. It's not as disturbing as the other ones.
Oh.
This one is pretty nice. Are we? Yeah, the reason we're wearing earpieces, by the way, tell them why.
we're wearing earpieces?
I can hear it. Oh, this is gonna be so cool.
I don't think anybody knows we're wearing earpieces.
No one noticed?
Oh, hey.
Hello, my bearded, beautiful, bearded friends.
Hey, Porterwell!
This is me in Portawal, and we are not in a lounge tonight, for we are at my home and in my spare bedroom with green walls.
Nice.
Green walls and white, is that crown molding? Sure, we'll call it crown molding tonight.
what kind of ceiling tiles are those? Those look sick.
Ones that have had a lot of water leaked on them, so they're all kind of not in the best of shape.
Nice.
Oh, I love it.
But hey, when you live downtown Davidson above, and your basement is a hardware store, you take what you can get.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, I was gonna compliment you. Somehow it's friggin' toque day, and you got a wicked nice toque there.
That's awesome. That was not.
You notice, you see the toque I'm wearing tonight, better?
Yeah. The boys, Headstone boys.
Shout out to the Headstones.
Nice.
We did the cross Canada tour with those boys. Me and Gramma there.
Yeah,
so.
he said nothing but the highest praise about them. He said before you guys went on that tour, it was like, okay, whatever. But after, like, everything sounded and felt different. He's like in love with them. He said like the best dudes and just the most incredible musicians, and they're still like punk rock and like everything. And he really, really amped up to quote Big James. He really sucked their cocks. It was awesome.
Well, hey man, they're Canadian punk rock legends that just had a little bit more success, right?
Yeah.
But that's all I got. I got this toque and a signed record from them that I didn't have to pay for because I asked for it on the last day of the tour. So,
Well, like I think, there's an element of like, we'd seen them so many times, but why are we still nervous to even just go buy merch? Seems like that kind of, because we have a lot of respect for them, and that doesn't go away. Like,
no.
It never goes away. So
That's a common theme with every single conversation we have in here, by the way.
Totally.
Yeah.
But that nervousness is still kind of weird. I don't get why that happens.
Right?
Man,
It was like when we were on show number 3 of the tour, and like I grew up loving the Headstones, right? Like we're all '90s boys, right? And Hugh was a badass, man. I remember going to see them at Riley's and like at the outdoor stage at the university football stadium and shit, and getting spit on, and like he's just a legend. I remember when we were in Regina, because they parked their bus in the like underground at the casino there, but we had to park outside with our van. And I remember just walking by, going to get something from the van before the show started, and Hugh came up to me one-on-one, and this is my first one-on-one with Hugh. I was like, just little fanboy. I'm like, you're a legend, man. And he just looked at me, gave me the nod, and walked by. And I just remember going to the van. You were in there. I'm like, fuck, man, I feel like the biggest loser in the world right now. My first one-on-one with the guy, I'm like, you're a legend, man. I'm like,
Well, it's so like, and you still remember it.
well, yeah, right. Like,
It's wild that those kind of interactions with, you just have that much respect for somebody. You just, it's.
well, yeah, it's like, and to be able to tour with those guys across Canada and every show, and then at the end of the show, at the end of the tour, they give us a bonus for pay because pay wasn't good, and they told us next tour, next album, you guys are getting the first call. So I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, and since that tour, we've played with them. They asked us to play with them just this summer. We went out and played with them in Calgary at the Gold Eagle Casino.
Nice.
And that was really cool to get a call from like over a year later, just being like, "Hey,
it was all hugs,
all
hugs, meeting in the backstage, everybody giving everybody a hug except for Hugh. You shake Hugh's hand because he's
that's like
he's too
Mr.
intimidating, right? So
I remember a couple of us like, just like, very nice to meet you, Mr. Dillon. He's like, Mr. Dillon. I was like, yeah, nice to meet you, Dr. Dillon. Dr. Dillon. Now that's what I want everybody to call me from now on.
But it was funny in Calgary too when he rolled into the backstage there. I was the first one sitting there. I stood up, shook his hand. Pleasure to be here again. Like, you were right there. You were standing up, shook his hand, and the guy who we shall no longer name, who's not with us, just sat there. And Hugh looked at him and says, "Don't worry, don't get up."
Don't get a. He was He's such a
That seems
serious guy.
the character,
yeah.
on all sides.
Yeah, but like he's got a great sense of humor. So the seriousness I think is also because we've seen him so much on TV and movies and like he plays nothing but serious people. So it's like as soon as he just opens his mouth and looks at you in a certain way, it's like, am I in trouble?
Yeah. What
You're
have I
always
done?
the police.
Right.
You're always the cop.
Yeah. So what was on the agenda for tonight's episode?
Well,
What did you guys get into?
Well, I was literally going to ask you about the Headstones tour because our Canna Kings went out and played with the Headstones in 2002, and it's kind of like a 2-year anniversary of when we finished that with them.
2022. Yeah.
So we came home like I was gonna because both of us are the ones that have a lot of memory of a lot of
The drive home.
Well, there you go.
That sounds like a story.
That's a Christmas miracle right there.
Oh, talk about leaving Toronto. What was it? Christmas Eve? No,
23rd. The 23rd
the
of December.
23rd. We left Toronto, trying to get home for Christmas. We flew John back to his family in BC because he's the only one with wife and kids.
Yep.
And the rest of us hopped in the van and trailer and we trekked across Canada.
No, well, here before we start, James was also supposed to go back on a plane.
But they canceled his flight or something, and we had
John
to
and
pick him up
James were on separate flights because John was going to Alberta and James had to go to Vancouver, and the Vancouver flight got canceled, and John's flight didn't, and he buggered off. So then we get a call at 6:30 in the morning from James, who's like, "My flight's canceled, and all flights are canceled because there's a massive storm."
Of course.
And it's like, well, what are we gonna do? He lives in Nelson.
Oh,
And he's like, "Can you guys just come pick me up?" And I was like, "And drive you back?" Like,
hold on, wait, this is
okay.
while you're in Toronto?
We're in downtown Toronto.
And he says,
about
come
to
pick
leave.
me up in BC.
No, come pick me up at the airport in Toronto because we're all going back.
I got you.
And he's just like, "I guess I have to go back with you
all I
guys."
got, yeah.
Sucked for him because he was going to be home in like 8 or 9 hours. Like,
how long is the drive?
The drive from Toronto to Saskatoon is 31 hours.
Ooh.
Yeah, but I think it took longer because as soon as we left Toronto, that blizzard started, and we drove through the most intense blizzard from Toronto to it lasted all the way to Indian Head, and then the sun came out finally in Indian Head.
Jeez.
But like, once we made it to Wawa on the first night, and we stayed in that hotel there, and then the next morning we were about to leave, and I was driving, and we go to turn on the highway, and the road closed. Like, what the fuck? What do we do now? Like, we got to get home for Christmas. And you were riding shotgun, and the other guys were in the back or whatever. And I remember it was like parked there. Like, what do we do? What do we do? I really don't want to turn around and stay in Wawa for another day.
So we're sitting there, but a truck went past us.
Yeah, a truck pulled up behind us and then went around us.
Just went around us.
Went down the road, and I'm like, well, this is our chance. We're following this guy.
That's right. You got
So we went down the road, closed, and to be honest, for that blizzard, the whole way home, that was probably still some of the best highways, and everything else wasn't closed. And anyway, we were on that road closed for about an hour and a half, and we were coming up to where it was reopening again. I don't know the town we were coming up to, but
it was like
we got
Fox something.
but we got pulled over 5 minutes out, and they're like, "You guys idiots? Didn't you see the road closed sign?" I'm like, "Well, we did, but we're Saskatchewan farmers and we're used to driving on shitty roads, so we need to get home for Christmas." And I'm like, "Well, what are you guys?" "We're a band. We just finished a tour with the Headstones." And the one girl's like, "Oh shit, you're on tour with the Headstones?" And yeah, we just got chatting, and then they're like, "Well, normally if you get in an accident, there's no insurance, so you guys could have been in a lot of shit, but you got 5 more minutes to go, so carry on." And they let us go, and we carried on, and we made it as far. This was Christmas Eve. We made it as far as Winnipeg, and we got into town late. And they're like, we were all hungry. Like, "Oh, we need something to eat. What's open?" Nothing. McDonald's is the only thing open. So I go on my skip the dishes Uber Eats, and I ordered probably like 20 McDouble cheeseburgers and 4 or 5 large fries, and we built a Christmas tree out of the cheeseburgers, and stabbed a bunch of fries into the burgers and sat there and we listened to Christmas hymns and that was our
Merry Christmas.
I'll bring the
Christmas
picture up
in
here.
Winnipeg.
It's and like that was Christmas Eve night. We were like, we were pulling into Winnipeg. So I think by the time the burgers, we were just like, there's nowhere else, but there's a McDonald's literally next door.
But we still skipped the dishes.
And we still
That's
skip
what
the
you do.
dishes.
Oh, yeah. Dude, that's my move.
It's hilarious.
Well, because when the drive-through was open, we would have to like unhook the trailer, and there was so much
Yeah.
snow, and I
Yeah,
think
there was so
over
much
everything.
snow we couldn't take the trailer through.
That's actually a real reason. Man, I just do it all the time. I was so happy when I figured out that Uber Eats actually lets you do 2 stops at once. And I figured that out because I was looking for some Arby's. I was feeling an Arby's. And I hit the skip the dishes. I got my Arby's. It was a 2-for-1 deal for like a turkey bacon club sandwich. That was normally like $13. So I'm like, that's it.
Sounds really healthy, Gary.
Well, I don't all the time, but it gets healthier. That's the fun part. So I got this all ordered up, ready to go, and then it's like, oh, would you like us to stop at any of these locations? And right there in the middle of the screen is my favorite pizza of all time, the Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. So I'm like, well, I wonder if I can get that too. So then I ordered the Pizza Hut, and then the Uber guy went to both places. So we went to Arby's to get these incredible sandwiches, and then he goes to the Hut and brings home a Big New Yorker. And I ate for 3 days, and it was the best time ever. I loved it
That's
so much.
a good Uber driver. That's a
Right?
You
That's something I'm waiting for
he's
Skip
looking out,
to...
he's looking out for our figures,
That's
right?
I got to earn this one. Oh, man. It's
Like
just...
this wasn't built on salad, boys. This,
That's right. Like we are literally living the dream, though. Like, I remember when we used to, like, order a delivery back in the day, like a real delivery, and we'd always say, oh, imagine if you could order McDonald's. Or imagine if you could order Burger King. That was like the dream, and it wasn't even that long ago.
No,
and now we all
it's too
take it
easy.
for granted. It's crazy.
And now I live in a small town. You literally have to get off your ass if you want to go to the A&W or the Dairy Queen on the highway there. I'm sure you guys know of the ones out here.
Stopped
Yeah.
many times.
I'm trying to find that friggin' post.
picture?
I'm trying to find the post of the Christmas tree. It's on the.
Yeah,
It's on
there's
our.
a bottle of Jack. There's some Fireballs, some Wisers all in the background. We were well medicated for it, right? Like we were.
Oh, and you know how we did get wise to how Ontario works with their booze stuff, and I had made the smart ass comment to being like, "Oh, we're going through Dryden. It's it's Ontario, and it's Christmas Eve. This would be the last place we can get booze." And it was like, what was it, like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock?
No, it was like almost 7. We had 5 minutes from when we parked there and get our liquor. Because there was nothing open in Winnipeg when we got there.
Well, because we were still another 4 or some hours away from Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Last stop.
this would be the last thing. It was like, if we're going to get anywhere to a hotel tonight, because we don't know, the weather's still crap. But like, this would be the place. So we actually diverted in through the town, and it was just like, this sucks. Why are we even doing this? But it ended up, we enjoyed ourselves that night. Like, sitting there doing, like, getting hotel rooms, getting McDonald's on a Christmas Eve, and then waking up Christmas morning in a hotel and being like, well, at least all we have is Winnipeg to Regina and Saskatoon to get home, right? And we're looking at James like, oh yeah.
he had to end up camping out in Regina with the bassist for a couple days before he got a flight. But that drive, that was the worst drive because all the snow was piling on the highway. So I remember driving, like, dodging lane to lane, like wherever the trees were dependent. Like, we're plowing like 3-foot banks of snow the whole way, like.
Yeah, it got
just
worse.
white knuckling, and then finally we roll in Indian Head, no snow on the highway, sun. It was like, oh, thank God! Like the last hour or whatever into Regina, and then me and you headed north to Saskatoon after that.
There it is.
Oh, he's got it.
That was quite the, and that's the first time I've ever driven, because I've only ever flown out there. So driving Toronto back home to Saskatoon and going through some of the worst blizzards and like some of them wind bursts going through like north of the lake. Sorry, what's the
Lake Superior?
main lake? Superior. Like, it would almost knock the van off the road, and like we're looking, and you catch glimpses of the lake, and you're seeing like 15, 20-foot waves crashing in. Like it was just.
Mayhem.
I don't ever want to have to do that again.
How? What do you think your average speed was going through there?
Probably 70 tops.
Yeah, I would say
that
tops.
even feels like a lot, hey,
Tops.
for like a nasty storm.
No, like when I think we went on the road closed, we were going 90 at points.
With a trailer?
Like I said, that when the highway was closed, it was the best conditions we had seen.
On the closed road was the
It's
best.
the best taken care of.
Like literally for the next 2 days, that was the best part.
Like, was the trailer pulling at all? Like, was that how? Like, I didn't even figure that into this thing.
Well, the trailer was pretty small, and you didn't really notice it. So
Yeah, with
like
that
you say,
tight of
those
a trailer, it just kind of follows along. It's
some of those wind gusts north of the lake there. Like I just remember it almost being knocked off the road. Like
yeah, one of the more dangerous things, and with us just being like, what are we gonna do? Stop?
Yeah, you've come too far.
Yeah, no, totally come too far. Like it's
Like,
just go.
We're not even talking about the fact that this is like you guys could have died. That's one of those things where it's like, yeah, we could have. That could have been it.
Yeah.
And I know
Well,
there's
hey.
a lot of those, but whew,
just another. We're road warriors. How much shit have we gone through? I remember leaving Whitehorse
yeah,
at 3 a.m. during a snowstorm to drive all the way back to Calgary to go record back in the cold filter days. Like
Yeah, back in the
we were
cold
white
filter
knuckling
days.
there. That's a long time ago, but we've seen it all, and we're farm boys too, right?
that's
And
right.
on the prairies, we've
Farm man.
seen a lot of shit.
That's a
man.
farm boy mentality.
Yeah, and
Love
like I want to reiterate, Al's a farm boy. He did farm stuff.
Yes.
I grew up on a farm. All of my farm stuff was done before I was old enough to farm stuff, and it was that wasn't necessarily my choice. I could have helped, but
Are
it
you
was.
saying you're a fake farm boy?
I'm an acreage guy.
Oh, classy.
I like
that one
your
before.
No, it's a farm. It's just I
Acreage guy.
didn't actually. It was aged out. I was aged out.
And here's the funny thing about his farm and my farm is like me and Graham didn't meet each other until we were in the Saskatoon music scene. I was probably you would have been 18. I'd have been probably 20-ish, right?
Yeah, at
We
Riley's.
met Riley's at like band wars and shit like that. And then as we've got older, like even on that headstone, we figured out that where your farm lied on on that grid, that Meridian line or whatever,
That's right.
is the same one that I grew up on, only about 30 miles south. Like where the crow flies. Like there's not a road that goes all the way through, but
Yeah, but that's
where the
that's
crow flies,
close.
me and him were on that same meridian, just 30 miles apart.
Yeah,
And
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And we grew up knowing people. We knew the same people in the same towns, like next to our towns.
because of hockey, right? Because of hockey.
Yeah, it's always hockey.
And then somehow never really meeting each other. And then
Until rock and roll.
until the rock and roll shows up, you're at a bar,
Literally, that's it.
kind of like the young people in the group, but you're actually the bands, and like all the other bands are old, and that you're the young guys, and it's like, well, you kind of stick together. It's like, oh wow, this is weird being in a bar, like, and eventually it was like, holy shit, where are you from? Like, what?
Connect the
Like,
dots.
yeah, and then it's just like being on a hockey team, right?
There it
It's-
is.
And I think we've said this too. Being on the road is a lot like being on like a hockey team. Like, there's less
Hell yeah.
people, obviously, but
Yeah,
You know,
but
there's-
even between me you and John, we're all hockey fans, and how many hours we sit there listening to Spit and Chicklets and other hockey podcasts and talking hockey. You're an Av fan, I'm a Hab fan, John's a Canucks fan, so there's always bickering going back and forth, right? So
and that's just
the
when-
other guys just kind of sit in the back and whatever. But
it's like you can take an analogy with hockey and attribute it to a band really easily. Just with there's
what
guys
was that
in the
word you
room.
used there? Was that anal logy?
Oh, logy.
I like that word.
Yeah, if you take one of those
It's a great
and
analogy.
you put it up there, and you twist it in two, and you got a double knuckler in your analogy.
Oh yeah, well you twist by the pool, right? You twisted by the pool, right?
When's the last time you twisted by the pool?
Well, it's been a while.
Last
It's been a
summer?
while
Or?
since I took the shirt off and unveiled the midget Sasquatch here. Or I always like to call myself the Danny DeVito of Sasquatches.
Oh man, you should see his Danny DeVito Sasquatch impression.
Oh, it's been a while since I've done that. Legit.
Oh, we're not going to see it.
Uh,
Oh, that was it. That was it. He did a really good job. That was the Danny DeVito
next interview,
Sasquatch.
I'll wear a button shirt, so I'll at least tease a little bit. So
Yeah, let it shine through.
So I guess the other thing that was the big ass dumb trip we did on the way home from a really awesome tour.
I really
now,
like that.
tell like a good what's your which was your favorite one from that tour? So this is our Canada Kings Headstones tour. Which date? What memory was like the one?
I don't know.
Well, there's
Ottawa was cool because Ottawa was cool because we did a back-to-back in Ottawa. It was nearing the end, and then we went out with the whole crew drinking after, and like they had like the Tragically Hips light guy, and their main guitar tech was like Gord Sinclair's guitar tech, right?
Yep.
So we just sat there and drank, and they were telling some crazy hip stories that, like, for our ears only, obviously, like not a lot of people would know, and so that was pretty cool. But it was also pretty cool to do the home show in Saskatoon, just in front of friends and family, and and the Commodore in Vancouver. Like that's such a legendary. We could say that about Burton Cummings Theater, and when like playing some of them legendary rooms. Like I never thought I'd ever,
never thought of doing it.
Playing the bar circuit, the Oxford Hotel in Brooks and the T. Thompson Inn, and we've come a little bit of a way, Graham.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know. we've cut.
But a lot of our bands were the guys that stuck with it too, right? Like
that's it.
So like they say you cut your teeth. Like by the time we get to go and play all these rad rooms, like we got dentures, so to speak. Just for another one of those analogies.
I was gonna say that was a great analogy.
I guess the one thing I wanted to add to the Ottawa stuff when they were hanging out, that was one of those times where it's like I want this like interview type style show to be more like that conversation that we had with those guys. But that was, we can't say anything about that because that's backroom stuff. That's green room stories.
Hold on, watch me bring this together. That's locker room stories.
It's
and
locker
that's
room
stories.
stories.
Those are locker room stories. They never leave it. I even go deeper than that and call them shower stories. Because we always get four dudes. Everyone's got a shower together. We had a carousel going one time where we were switching shower heads, telling stories that will never be repeated anywhere else. That's the same bond you have when you're on the road every second of every day.
That's the code we live by.
Exactly like that.
Oh yeah,
but
the shower is all about saving that water, baby, and doing it right, making sure no one hogs the hot water, because we all know arena showers like to vary in temps, so you got to be careful.
I guess there is a little bit of a difference there.
Yeah. That's just a little bit about me.
But like I think that's one of the funnest things about being on the road. It's like you meet somebody who has been. Like somebody who's worked with other people, like somebody that everybody's a fan of. It's like, oh, this guy's a guitar tech for that guy. Or
that same guitar tech is Ian Thornley's main guy, right? Like that's
right.
He's a Canadian one of the best out of our country, man.
And if you're that guy's guitar tech, you must be a pretty good guitar tech.
Yeah.
You don't just.
And we made good friends with those guys by just being who we are, being real. We're
and shout out Kirby. He was
Kirby,
man. I don't know. We don't have really any connection with him. We hung out and saw him a lot, and kind of just there you go.
Yep.
Fade off.
We'll see you again. We'll see you again down the road. That's
sometime.
What else can you say, right?
Well, it's gonna happen again. It'll just happen one day.
Yeah.
And especially he's one of those guys that you want it to happen one day. Just randomly, you're out, I'm going to go see this band, and he's like walking around like, hey!
Porno Al, did you see the cheeseburger picnic picture?
I've seen it before.
Oh, okay, so you know what it looks like.
Like the one from the tour.
Yeah, we got it right now. We've got
Cheeseburger, the cheeseburger Christmas miracle.
That's it.
Cheeseburger
Beautiful.
Christmas miracle.
I'm just asking. Grandma put it on the screen before, but I wasn't sure if you saw it or not.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
well, I'll see it when I watch the
Yeah,
episode and judge you guys and myself.
It looks amazing. Like all I want now is cheeseburgers, so I might put in a what's it called, a Christmas miracle order. I'll see if they'll
Yeah,
send one of those
cheeseburger
over.
Christmas. Maybe next episode we'll see if you can float a cheeseburger in the clouds there.
Look at that.
And just take them down as we go.
Right there.
Well, that's another dream I want to make come true.
Yeah. Sick.
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, that's pretty sick, man.
So hold on, what's going on at the arena tonight? Why aren't you there?
Nothing. It's closed over the holidays.
I guess,
so
'cause it's freaking Boxing Day.
just
It's World
enjoying-
Juniors. Canada's currently
Yeah,
they
they're up-
scored a
yeah.
goal last time I saw.
Yeah, it's on my TV, but I'm not in the room because
Go
I
check.
have
Can you check
Yeah,
the
can you
score
give us an
real
update?
quick?
I have company at my house right now, so I have a little party going on. So
You don't have to
I'm,
show them on the screen, but can you show us what the score is?
yeah,
I got it. Don't worry.
I'm not gonna go
Cornwell,
through
I
there.
got this.
Don't show them on there.
I got it right
You
here.
don't have
well,
to put their faces on there because then we'd have to get them to sign a.
Yeah, no waivers.
Yeah.
Watch live. Canada's up 2-0 midway through the third.
Perfect. Maybe I can go put on the Seahawks game again and see what the score is there.
Oh, now I have to figure that
So
out too.
hey,
Jeez.
Al,
Yeah.
before you gotta do a high five to the right of your face.
Is that my right? That's my left.
That's your left.
Yeah,
Yeah, there we go. High five.
Oh yeah. Hit it. Oh, this is awesome. Whoa, don't hit the screen.
I didn't even know. Sorry, Al. I hit you in the face and it got
You
the
hit
screen.
too hard. You got too angry.
I just had more members of the party show up, so
Yep.
Well, absolutely, man.
good
It's
you
good
boys
to
to
talk
do,
to
and
you.
we'll do this again. All right.
Hell
Yep,
yeah. Thank you
we're-
so much for giving us some time, especially in the middle of a party. It means a lot to us, and we really, really appreciate it.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Right back at you, boys. I love you all, and
care.
let's do her again.
Yeah, we'll get you
What-
in when
Maybe
John and the
maybe
boys
when I'm
come
in the city, we'll sit. I'll see if we can find another chair and another
Hell
spot
yeah.
for a fat guy there. So.
We got you in here.
We got the whole area. We're gonna bring.
We're ready
We're
for
all
you.
gonna come in here. So our Can of Kings boys, we're all gonna be jamming here in a couple weeks, and
Legit.
we're gonna get everybody. in.
Perfect.
This is Grandma's home, which means it's your home now. So you got to use it.
Perfect.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Have fun.
Good night, boys. Love you.
Take care,
Cheers.
bro.
Love you too, man.
Cornwell!
Prono Lannister.
And now I forgot to do the dance.
Oh, no, and I'm not going to rate your call. Yeah, it's
So
we
good.
can call him Al. We
He's
can
so
call him
good.
Sal if we want.
Hell
But yeah, Al's a great time. We spent a lot
What
of
a
time in the
sweet
van
dude,
with
eh? What a
with each other. We
Every single person we talk to is so sweet. It's getting a little bit ridiculous.
I can't wait to get him in there in here. He's a wealth of knowledge. He's a wealth of misinformation. it's awesome. We like to have a good time. But like, you know, being on the road for a long time, we do travel with each other all
Yeah,
the time
that's
because
it.
the other
You're
guys
around.
live in Nelson. I was just saying they're all going to be coming into town because I'm in a band with guys who are that live in BC, and like we don't have enough money to fly everywhere all the time and do all this stuff. We don't jam. We just
That's
go
the
play
crazy
shows.
part, right? Like
and
that's just
discuss
a
things.
statement
So like,
on how good you guys are at music.
well,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
I
That's
guess
incredible.
from
It's
the
incredible.
outward perspective, but like we just, you know, we've been doing this a while, and like we write when we get together, we're writing music. It's not
Yeah.
like we got to go jam out the old tunes again or anything like that.
Hey,
but
fellas,
like,
let's go jam out the old tunes again.
yeah.
What
So
a great
we're really excited to be doing stuff. Like Saskatchewan's a great place to be doing music, writing, getting
Hell yeah, it
inspired,
is.
all this stuff in the wintertime.
Yes, sir.
For anybody who's watching in America or on the eastern, western parts of the country
yeah.
who
Coming
don't know
again,
what it's like out here,
Yeah.
little bit desolate. Sometimes you get trapped in by ice. Not necessarily snow, but you get
Yeah.
trapped in by ice. But like, whatever. Everyone has their own ways of getting trapped in the winter. And I guess the best thing is if we can find a time where being so separated like we are, if we can connect and find a time to connect, then we'll take it just to make more music, because who doesn't want to make music all the time?
With your friends.
Gary started making music. Gary
He's so fun.
was having a lot of fun with his friends making music.
Literally.
Gary started doing this. Now he's addicted to it.
It's, well, man,
We got to get you on stage, brother.
it's so funny because you hear the story 1,000 times. You just have buddies in bands, so you're always going to shows growing up, and then, you just become such a fan and you're around it so much, but you see real musicians and people that can actually do it, so that it's almost like you would be disrespecting everyone if you like started a band and said, I'm going to sing, knowing how bad I am. But if it's done right in the right way, like we sort of set it up, it's like Fat Mike, no effects. That's what I always say. It's just horrible talent, but emotion. And it's like something you can carry a little bit of a tune that can harmonize.
Fat Mike's
I
a
love
sick
harmonizing.
bass player, though.
Man, he's fucking amazing.
Like he's
So
just
good.
such a sick bass player.
Yeah.
That's
He's so good that most of the stuff growing up, I've grown into a man now. I went from a boy to a man. But when I was like younger in like high school and shit, I like disagreed with every single thing that he sang about. And he was my favorite singer of all time in my favorite band of all time.
and just
That's how
disagree-
good he was.
Yeah. Oh, and you don't have to agree with anybody.
That's it.
You don't have
It's
to
an
agree
easy
with
lesson.
everybody.
That's an easy lesson right there. So, anyways, that's the only way we can make my voice work is when I'm like scream singing, but making harmonies with it. It's really fun.
You just gotta keep doing it.
Yeah,
You'll
practice.
you'll make all the
Reps.
voices.
Reps. That's what it's all about. What are we going to end on today? You got anything fun?
Well, I just want to, happy holidays to everybody. We're
Happy
filming this on Boxing Day. That's why we got this. It's coming out
Happy
not on Boxing Day, but I'm
holidays.
going to break the fourth wall here.
Whoa, curtain jerking. Here we go. It's a wrestling term. Yeah, pulling the curtain back. It's like Wizard of Oz shit,
I was doing a wrestling thing, but whatever.
Well, that's the same thing.
It's just like, hey, we got to do this. Got to make
Kayfabe.
time to make things happen, I guess.
Yes.
And
A lot of
want
really
to shout
cool
out
shit's coming out.
everybody
We're doing really
who has been watching
We love you. and
in the
appreciate you
past
so
already
much.
that I'm kind of starting to organize coming in the future. You guys have been awesome and very helpful, just being open to, come on whenever. But going to have a lot of good guests coming up here in
I wish I could
2025.
spill all
This
the
is our
news.
last one of
There's a
2024.
huge plan.
And
And I'm so excited for
yeah,
it.
the
I
whole
can't say anything.
New Year's going to be really exciting. We got
Incredible.
more stories like this. We'll say back room, green room style stuff.
Locker room, shower if you're a sports fan.
Things might get a little bit weird. We might have to start
Let's get
putting
weird.
explicit.
Let's get weird. Yeah, I was thinking
things
about that
on all this
last
stuff.
week. I think it
Because
was
it's-
after the
it's-
third
I don't know,
Big
some of
James
it's weird,
episode.
man.
I'm like, man, maybe we should have a waiver that we put at the start of this.
It will,
Like this show
depending
is
on how
rated
deep,
MA or
because I know everybody just wants to be as honest as possible. This is
Yeah.
it's cool that we can do this in front of a camera, but you just want
Dude, we said sucking cock. That's pretty bad. But it's quoting Big James. It's like when Norm Macdonald would do the
to
joke.
you quote it.
When Norm Macdonald would go on late night, he'd be like, no, okay, I got this joke that I heard from some, but I can't tell it. I can't tell it. They're like, no, you have to tell it. No, I can't. I just can't. It's horrible. It's a horrible joke. I can't do it. It's like, no, come on. And they keep cheering and cheering
Yeah.
until you finally get it out of him. And it's the rankest fucking joke you've ever heard
Yeah,
in your
yeah.
life. And he's like, hey, I'm quoting him. It wasn't me. He said it, like midway through the joke, he keeps saying it. I was like, this isn't me. Don't be mad at me. I'm quoting him, my taxi driver. This is what he said. I told you wouldn't believe it.
That's
That's exactly what we just
That's how you get out of being racist.
Oh, that's a bad comparison.
I'm not saying that you're racist.
No, it's
You know,
funny because before
how
we came on
people
the
think,
air, I
yeah.
was talking about, and I said the joke. I'll say it now because I think we can all agree we're not racist in any way.
No.
So I was sitting here like, man, could you imagine if I was like all of a sudden just racist? And he starts laughing at that guy. Like, well, like seriously, like imagine like, oh man, why am I so racist? What's happening? And just have like something going on in your brain, like never able to leave the house because you're just too racist. It's like imagine if that would happen. I bet you that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, well, I guess it was. I'm laughing so much because I'm picturing you doing that. It's just like
It's very out of character.
well, it
for me.
just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
so
I'm
it's
not a
really
big
funny.
fan of racism and violence and all that stupid shit.
Oh, that's funny. It's just like you picture your grandmas doing something like that, but I guess some other people's grandmas are kind of like that. You never know.
You go to
Everyone's
hey,
got a grandma.
I was just at the
I
old
love
folks
my grandmas.
home
Shout
last
out
night
both
dropping
my
off my
grandmas.
grandma, and I'll tell you, there's a little bit of not a care in the world in everything they say. Go ahead.
It was a different
What are you gonna
time.
do? Cancel me? I'm 79. It's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, they
so.
don't use social media.
Yeah,
That's why. But you
they
know,
ain't woke.
as the one funny thing, maybe you can. I think the dirty grandma or angry grandma. Have you seen that on social media?
Yes, I've heard of this.
The funny, hilarious, and she's going with it. Cool. But like in the beginning, it was really funny because you thought it was real,
Real, yeah.
and it
The
was
mystique
like,
has been pulled. That's a curtain jerk.
Yeah, it's because it's so it's good. Now. It's still funny because it'll never not be funny. What woman is grumpy and hilarious and swears all the time. It's just the best because you want to know what that would be like if your sweet old little grandma was like that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh no,
That's it. Granny, this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
I think with all of that being said,
Let's shout out your toque. I'll shout out my toque.
oh yeah, Aquaman. Shout out to my main man D-Rock. They are the go-to place if you need maintenance on your water supply, or maybe you need an underwater drone inspection and so much more. They do it all out of Lloydminster. My bro D-Rock and his team ready to take over the water world. I used to say like he stands on the top of a waterfall with a trident. That's not true. Still love him though. What do you got?
This is Los Cabos drumsticks.
Sponsor? Is that sponsor?
I endorse
personally,
their
not the
product.
show. You
I endorse
personally?
their
Yeah.
product.
That's what I'm
I've been
talking
with Los Cabos for
That's amazing.
officially the 10th year.
Good for you.
So it was
That makes me so happy.
2014, beginning of,
That's amazing.
2014. So
Shout 'em out.
Shout out.
Shout
They're
out.
out in New Brunswick. Love you guys.
Hell yeah.
I'll always use your product. It's kind of a given. And
Loves it.
yeah,
He sleeps
thanks for
with
the
them.
merch.
He
I want to
sleeps
buy
with
more
sticks
merch.
in his pants.
I want to get like a black toque.
Hell yeah. The man in black.
Yeah.
Hey, final question for you before I walk off. Did you hear back from the lady you shouted out at the end of the last episode?
It's the holidays. I don't know. Maybe
I forgot.
Maybe she eventually saw.
holidays. Happy holidays. Oh man, my pants are coming off. I got my Christmas pants on. And shout out to my Uncle Kev. You got me a Star Wars shirt?
Hey, Uncle Kevin. I got an Uncle Ken. Shout out Uncle Ken. Oh, I bet they'd love to sing some songs together.